Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Anime-Zing Radio. This evening, we have no Doug, so I'm your host, Angela Rose, and joining me in the co-host seat is Darren, who is not dead, apparently.
Sorry, my phone was in the truck, and I'm trying to unload stuff on a pile, which is much harder than just dumping it and going.
So you're working and not and you weren't sleeping this time.
Yeah, I wasn't supposed to be working, but we had a lot of rain, and some people lost some limbs, and one of my customers has a bonfire pile, so I don't have to pay to dump it. So
even better.
Yeah, pretty much.
So I suppose I'll ask the question: did you actually, over the course of this week, get a chance to watch any anime and catch up on stuff?
Yes. So about that, Wednesday and Thursday, I couldn't work at all. It rained all day, both days, and I was on vacation from Bojangles, so.
So you actually were able to catch up on anime. Huzzah!
Some of it anyway, because I did have a couple things I did for the business that I can't normally do when it's sunny out. But other than that, yeah.
And none of your business says you're using wireless headphones, correct?
Nope. This is pure phone speaker.
And hello, John. Good to see you. No, I did in fact get a chance to watch some of Sakamoto.
It's good. It hit a peak. How much of it have you seen?
4 episodes, I think.
Okay, so you missed out on the best. The last 2, which were like really good.
Checking that now, because no. Random chat is random. And John Knight's question: do I ever wonder why Doug calls Deku from My Hero Academia a whiny bitch? No, I don't wonder that. I know why.
I know why too, because I agree with him.
The early seasons, I will agree. That said, he gets a lot better as a character.
In my understanding, he goes from a whiny ass to a stuck-up ass there toward the end, there for a while.
Let's just say everyone else gets their character development arc before he does.
And when he finally gets his, he has a whole personality change.
Actually, yeah. But while we're on the topic of My Hero, final season starts in October.
Yay, it can be over. That way they can do spin-offs like they do with every other popular show.
I know, right?
About to say, so Deku X Otoko spin-off when?
Well, they already have a My Hero already has a spin-off that was last season. So there's that. But are you caught up with Dress Up Darling?
Am I what?
Dress Up Darling, did you watch it?
Yes, I watched it.
So good.
Agreed, but I gotta admit, Nazuna is climbing my rank in my female character list for the season. And of course, I haven't started Bunny Girl because I forgot about the movie.
Now, while we were watching this the most recent episode of Dress Up Darling, we had a conversation that amounts to Dress Up Darling is one of those shows that you just watch it and you feel good immediately. You feel good. It's just such a feel good show, and there's not a lot of those in the modern era.
Yeah. Cute girls doing cute things kind of shows.
And quite literally one of the only other shows in recent years that has that same kind of feel good is for us, Sign of Affection,
which I haven't seen. But then again, I reiterate, danger's in my heart. So watch it, people.
So there, yeah. So I posed the question to chat.
Sorry, I'm still working.
I figured. So I posed the question to the chat. What would you say is that show? Is that anime that just you watch and you feel good?
Dr. Feelgood? That's true.
And John Knight in the chat is commenting they got Summer Wars the Summer Wars movie Blu-ray from Barnes & Noble. Huzzah for physical media. Supporting physical media. I would if I could.
Yeah. Okay, that's twice you've heard me cuss now because I don't normally cuss.
And I'm being good and I'm not cursing for once. I feel like we're playing
role reversal.
Yeah, and we did that last week too.
Yay!
Granted, I think last time it was Doug that was the one swearing at all the things. And okay, in response to my question, none of your business has to think about that. No idea. And John Knight says reserve, which is one I've never heard of.
Remind me next time I want to save money to do it a little bit further away from Showtime.
Reverse. Okay. Again.
I heard that phrase since Yu-Gi-Oh.
I don't know, but you are. But there's a whole lot of noise.
Am I done? I think I'm done.
Well, all right.
All right, and this customer is going to have to wait till I come back Tuesday to have the rest of the yard cleaned up because it is a giant field and it is an Airbnb and I do not care. But hey, aren't Airbnbs the best? The owner's never around.
Airbnbs are the best. And in the chat, None Your Business says, to be honest, a lot of the new anime, especially the dubs, just feel too flat. Like, even when made for older teens, they tone it down to be more childish.
Haven't watched the dub in so long, I can't comment.
I was about to say, I tend to watch a lot a lot more subs.
I think the only person that watches dubs at this point is Doug, and that's gotten to be a rare occasion.
I think the last thing I watched dubbed was what was a show I watched on was one I watched on HBO Max. I could be mistaken, but I feel like Housing Complex C was the last dub I watched, and
Haven't heard that show in a while.
I watched it when it came out, and it was definitely a fairly well done psychological horror.
I will come back to that. Chickens. Goodbye, chickens. And now I have a cat. That's a rabbit.
So there are chickens, but are there eggs?
Yeah, actually. These are laying hens. Since this property is kind of out in the middle of nowhere, they are allowed to have chickens and a rooster.
Well, all right.
Because most county ordinances or city ordinances allow X amount of chickens, but no roosters. But out here in the sticks, they don't really care.
I wouldn't know. I live in a very urban area, and even my friends that live in rural areas, they have chickens.
I forgot. You weren't able to ride around with me like Doug was.
No, I did not.
It was straight to the convention center and back.
Yep. The only detours I had was food and coffee.
Pretty much.
But and None Your Business says chickens are fun, low maintenance, and give you eggs for essentially being garbage disposals. That is definitely one way to put it.
That is the truth. Let me put it to you this way. These chickens here love me because every time I'm near their cage, I will intentionally blow grass clippings and dirt into their pen, even though it's against the fence, and they will just going to town on whatever I threw in there.
Nice.
They will actively wait up along the fence until I actually come by with the discharge chute their way.
Nice. John Knight says today is 6 years since Demon Slayer Season 1, Episode 19 was released, which allegedly is one of the best episodes. I don't know. I didn't get that far.
That launch series because of the smooth animation and one of the first acceptably well done CGI scenes in anime, period. Because beforehand, CGI and anime and good are three terms you've never heard together.
You got 2 out of 3?
You had good anime, bad CGI. You had good CGI, bad anime. You had bad anime, bad CGI, good anime, and yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't actually make it that far into Demon Slayer. That's one of those ones I keep meaning to go back to, and then never seem to find the time to do so because I have work and axe throwing and other projects, and then I get distracted by all the things. Like sports.
Yeah. Sports. Um, yeah, about sports.
I was going to say, you have sports teams. Do you follow them?
I'm talking about the other exciting entertainment in sports this week.
Which event?
The whole WNBA.
Oh, that.
Yeah, look, the worst part is for sports betting, there was actually more bets on the event than the games itself. True story.
Ay. Welcome back, Ross. Good to see you.
And now, as a result, they're thinking of doing a COVID thing and not having anyone in the stand.
I don't know.
They're feeling the results at work. The kids going back to school and football kids we just hired all of a sudden can't work anymore.
Oh, no.
You know?
Oh, dear.
A female deer?
Yeah, it's almost. Is it just me, or is back to school sooner and sooner every year?
It's not like every other holiday. Well, even though it's not really a holiday, but they've gone from starting back to school like 2 weeks to prior to them actually starting back to like the last week in July, if not the week prior. And I'm just like, they still got another month. I mean, I don't know about y'all, but the average annual start date here is August 25th.
Yeah, it used to be after Labor Day up here, and now it's somewhere in the vicinity of the 30th, I think. And Ross says it's the 12th.
So we still go back sooner than y'all.
And Ross says it's the 12th where he lives, and John Knight says it's National Lazy Day today. Huh.
But I've been working.
And I was driving a lot today.
Normally that's what I do, be it on a vehicle or a mower.
We had tickets to an event earlier. And subsequently, I agreed to drive. Because we had tickets for a wrestling-related event for my friend's birthday.
Oh. About to say, was it a major wrestling event, or was it more like a localized?
I don't know how familiar you are with wrestling. The Hardy Boys were in town, and it was a state.
I know Jeff and Matt.
It was basically a stage. It was basically them putting on a show, if you will. But the first act was Matt and some other dude telling stories, and then Jeff playing, and then Jeff singing with somebody playing acoustic guitar.
Okay.
One of our friends, his birthday was last week, and he was a huge fan of the Hardy Boys, so a few of us decided, hey, we're going to do this thing. So
If I'm
A fun.
if I'm not mistaken, I think they were at GalaxyCon the other week. I don't remember.
I don't know. They talked about being in Maine yesterday, so shrug. But given
Well,
how they're trying to promote independent wrestling, I could totally see them being at an event like GalaxyCon.
it was just kind of ironic that Hulk Hogan died the first day of GalaxyCon, and since we had several WWE stars there, they took the opportunity to interview a couple of them on their opinion and thoughts and whatnot, and just wanted to see if they had any words regarding Hogan's death.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's one of those. I'm going to be honest. While obviously I knew who Hulk, knew Hulk Hogan, I didn't follow wrestling at that point in my life. I was still a child. And so that one didn't really affect me as much.
I mean, I get it. Um, that was my uncle's generation. Um, this was back when you could find the athletes at the bar or whatnot, and they were far more approachable before it became a money grab to even get to see them.
Yep.
So my uncle would always take the chance to actually go and hang out with some of them if he could. Same thing with a lot of the musicians and other talent acts that used to roll through Raleigh.
Yep. And on that note, Ross in the chat says that Hulk Hogan cracked him out as a kid and he didn't like the Nanny movie. I never saw that movie.
Likewise. Come on, people.
The joys of sitting in traffic.
No, they're turning and they're clear and they won't go.
If I
This is open driving right now.
you sound like me when I'm driving in the city.
You've heard me drive enough that you know I have road rage. Not to the
Yeah,
point I get out and fight somebody, but still.
yeah, but yeah, but it's you know what? I think I can honestly say I think Southern road rage is different from Northeast road rage. It feels different.
I will agree to that because um yeah I've seen some road rage videos in the city from various northern cities, and it is interesting to say the least. New York especially.
Oh yeah, I yeah, driving in New York City is an adventure.
What do you think's worse, New York City or DC?
I'm gonna say New York City. My sister might argue with me on that because she lives right outside of DC, but
I'm just
there's
curious because anytime we go up north, those are the two areas that they talk about my anyone that's driving hates driving.
there's spots of DC that are always bad, but it's all highway. But it's getting on and off the highways. In New York, it's the city streets themselves. Although Although I will say, I think the angriest I ever saw my father in his lifetime was the traffic jam we got stuck in driving back to Boston from Philly, and we got stuck in traffic in the Bronx.
You know, it was funny. Shipping wars back in the early season when Roy was still alive. He would always go like, da 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 city. I hate this city. But then I hate most cities.
Was he the one that lived in New Hampshire?
I believe so. He was the one with the long silver hair. They called him Silver Jesus.
I only remember watching a few episodes of that
He was
show.
about to say that was when Shipping Wars was actually good. After the original cast left, unfortunately, he passed away. I can't remember if he was filming or making a delivery, but he passed away in between seasons, if I recall correctly.
I don't remember, but
But that was a that was an interesting show.
agreed. Agreed.
I mean, I'll never do hot shot trucking, but I mean, props to the people that do because if you get the right one, it'll pay. I mean, when I had stuff shipped across the country, I had to pay.
Yep, and I know somebody who spent years as a truck driver.
My mom said that she wanted to be a truck driver growing up, just because she wanted to travel everywhere.
That's one way to do it. No, I I gotta say, I grew up traveling, so I
Uh,
learned to appreciate it.
yeah. Well, about to say, probably the best part about traveling, and I'm being sarcastic here, is all the spring flowers you see everywhere you go. The official state flower of whatever state you go into, the orange traffic cone.
Yep, and and that is an. I'm going to use that as a segue for Ross's comment to bring us back to anime. Uh, I think this was a show Doug watched, maybe, but there's Ross saw the trailer for season 2 of Bed and Breakfast for Spirits, and he says the animation and art look different than season 1,
Um,
brighter even.
to be fair, anytime they bring back a show that hasn't aired in several years, the art and animation is always going to look slightly different, unfortunately, um, because that's just how studios have changed.
And that might even be just the advancements in the tools and technology.
True, but be that while it may, once you see a season and then you see one several years later, very rarely is it close enough to the original that it seems seamless.
Mm. And that's and these days we're seeing a lot of that. We're seeing a lot of season 2s of shows that are how many years old?
Uh-huh.
And then Ross is
Oh,
adding to his comment, the characters look different is what I'm trying to bring up. Same studio, Darren, but they have a second partner studio this time.
okay. So they actually retain the studio, but slightly different character design. Well, I
which
can't
is
say
which is
anything.
no, that's interesting because usually when we see the differences, half the time it's too much time in between seasons, or completely different studio.
About to say, I can admit, DxD season 3 was slightly different than seasons 2 and 1, even though they didn't air that far apart from each other. And then, of course, with the studio change to season 4, that's a whole nother story.
Yep. Um, John Knight says, as asking me what my honest opinion on My Hero Academia is.
What the heck, dude?
Road rage.
No,
John, to answer.
it's not that. There's a moped in front of me, and I guess there's something wrong with it. So everyone's going around him,
Oh no.
and now he's having to push the thing out of the road.
Ugh. Um, and Ross is pointing out that Bed and Breakfast was 7 years ago, so yeah, that makes sense as to why it would look different. John, to answer your question, honest opinion, it's fun. I'm enjoying it. Um, I will say certain story arcs are significantly better than others, and I'm looking forward to watching the final season when it comes out.
I swear, people keep getting brighter and brighter headlights.
Yup. Yes, indeed.
Oh well, half the time I have my fog lights on, and they think I have my brights on.
Uh, I had that happen as well at one point. But, trying to think. There was something I wanted to actually bring up, and now I don't. And now I don't remember what it was.
I don't know. I'm not you.
Exactly. Um, and Ross says the movie Freakier Friday. He says bummed this weekend at the box office. They made the same amount of money that they had the budget for.
So I broke even.
Um, Interesting. I mean,
How did
that's
Happy Gilmore 2 do? So didn't
I
that debut also?
that went, I believe, directly to Netflix.
So it didn't even go in theaters this time.
I believe so. But yeah, no, I don't. Freaky Friday was definitely a movie that didn't need a sequel, in my opinion. But it seems like Disney's on this kick of doing a lot of sequels, a lot of
Bleeding existing shows for money because they're out of ideas.
yeah. Let's go with that.
Oh, speaking of which, what's your opinion and chat's opinion on the whole Disney Hulu merger?
Uh, I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised it's happening. I'm not sure how I feel about it.
I just see another monopoly.
I feel like that's the road we're going down, yeah.
And also, since Hulu was free for in many ways, and Disney is not, you know.
Mm-hmm. And Ross says something in the chat. The movie Weapons was made because the director thought it could be used to help with his grief from his best friend who died. I don't know anything about this. And John Knight is comparing the Hulu and Disney merge to the just like Funimation and Crunchyroll.
Basically,
It, I
I
mean,
will be. I will be right back.
okay. I'm not sure if that's. I feel like the Funimation and Crunchyroll is more of a monopoly right now because there's still a good amount of other streaming services. They're not all merged yet into one. But we'll see what happens once it is complete going forward. But and Ross says Skydance and Paramount are merging. Well, I don't. I did hear about that one. I'm not. Skydance is another one I'm not super familiar with. So it looks like the what was the cable wars back in the day is happening again with streaming services. But that's one I'll have to actually do a little more research on because I've heard some of this, but I don't know enough to actually have a informed opinion. But hey. But hey, I don't know. Ross, a question I asked before you joined us in the chat. What would you say? What would you say is an anime, a recent-ish anime that you just watch and it's a feel-good anime? Because this is a thing that came up when my husband and I were watching Dress Up Darling before the show.
Shut up. Sorry, when my truck talks to me.
Yeah, when the vehicle talks, you answer. I know how this works.
Yeah, because 9 times out of 10, you're not gonna say what the vehicle wants.
Um,
Yeah,
you know what, Ross? Either. For example, we were watching Dress Up Darling, and it's one of those, we were watching the show, we were watching the new episode, and it was the show just, it's a show that just makes you feel good. And we likened it to A Sign of Affection in that same kind of in your feels. So I posed the question to chat, what would you say is a feel good anime?
it better not have just scratched my truck.
Oh no.
That's okay. I think I'm far enough off. Yeah, I'm plenty far enough off.
Oh good.
Uh,
But
Shut up.
and John says his feel good anime is 100 Girlfriends dubbed.
Interesting choice.
That is not one I've watched. But I feel like you and Doug have had enough conversations about that one that I don't necessarily need to. And your truck sounds angry. Or that is static. I don't know. But I feel like we're going to lose Darren again.
Why is that?
Um, because I was hearing a lot of static.
And now you're hearing music.
Excellent. John,
And
I've
it's
never
and it's Journey. Oh,
can't go wrong with Journey. And to answer John's question, honest opinion on 100 Girlfriends, I don't know. I've never seen it. Um, and Ross says, I got about three to choose. Call of the Night, okay, but not excited about Sam's. About a couple of cuckoos and vending machine and coming for two and Dr. Stone and Outcast Restaurant. Interesting choices. And this is actually one of the things I enjoy is seeing what everybody getting a feel for what everybody likes and what everybody enjoys and finding out about shows I've never heard of, even if they're things I wouldn't necessarily choose to watch or care to watch. It's always fun to see someone enjoy something. And Ross says the three he gets excited for each week are Betrothed to My Sister's Ex, Game Center Girl, and Scooped Up for S Rank Adventurer. And Darren, John Knight says, what's your honest opinion on ecchi anime?
I am here. I am just putting stuff back in the correct vehicle.
Ah, But yeah, John Knight's asking your honest opinion about ecchi.
Still one of my favorites. Just they haven't put out a quality ecchi anime in quite a while, like almost 8 years.
Uh, you know what? I can say that's fair.
I think the last one that was even remotely decent might have been um, this new one. Uh, I'll think of the name in a minute.
Yeah, I don't know.
Ah, Chain Soldier. Probably the most ecchi-ish anime I've seen in a while. Um, we did have the guy with the harem. Uh, Redo of Healer was just Redo of Healer. That's its whole own category. Same thing with interspecies reviewers.
You know, I was surprised by how much I'm actually enjoying interspecies reviewers.
Mm-hmm. So, who's your favorite character? Still the Harpy?
I don't know. It's we
I mean,
haven't. I have to go back. We do have to go back and finish that because we're still not done.
you only rotated the fourth member of the group like every other episode.
Yup. And some of the hijinks are just ridiculous.
Of course, because that's anime in a nutshell.
Yup. Um, and Ross says other shows that other shows that kind of go along with this first set of shows. Toilet Bound Hanako-kun, Dress Up Darling, and Private Tutor Duke's Daughter. They feel like Um,
Um, Dress Up Darling, yes. The other two, I haven't seen. Now, the Duke of Deafen is made. I've heard good things about. Um,
and if Doug were here, he'd have an opinion about Toilet Bound Hanako-kun, but he's not.
uh-huh. One of my feel good shows, I would have to say, is The Angel Next Door, which I'm very excited for season 2 next season, I believe.
I believe that is coming back. And hello, Francisco Garcia. Bless you.
Thank you. Because now that I've played in the trees, all the wood chips are going to start to affect my allergies now that I'm home.
Yep. And Darren from John Knight in the chat. What is your honest opinion on Black Clover?
Honestly, better than My Hero. I've watched most of Black Clover. I fell off around episode 130, so like maybe 30 episodes before they finished the original series.
I'm right around reading the manga. I'm right around chapter 250.
Okay, and that would be details.
They're all still split up, and different teams are fighting the overpowered bad guys.
Which overpowered bad guys? We've had a bunch.
Yeah.
Have we gotten to where the demons reveal themselves, or is it still the elves?
No, the elves and the clovers are actually on some of them are on the same side.
All right, hold on. Let me switch gears here. I'll be right back.
Yep.
That's what I was trying to avoid.
What?
The very bad feedback.
And Ross says Angel Next Door is coming back in April.
So gonna be.
And John Knight says recently he and his dad were getting rid of leaves and the branches. So same thing you were doing.
Well, when it storms, that's what happens.
Yep.
But so let's see. So you haven't actually come across any of the demons yet, right? They haven't made themselves known. Have you met Nero yet? Have you met Nero yet?
I don't remember about Nero, but
have you met the original Wizard King yet?
Yes.
Then you should have met Nero.
I specified didn't remember.
The little black bird, the one that can transform in between a bird and.
Oh yeah, I met the bird.
Okay.
And then I think we have a demon that's picking a fight with people.
Okay, so you're right around where I left off in the anime, where the demon doesn't realize who Asta is actually wielding.
Correct. But we haven't circled back to Asta in a bit. We're still circling through everybody else.
Gotcha.
And Ross says, still have to wait one more month to watch Fragrant Flowers Bloom with dignity. Netflix jail is killing me.
What's Netflix jail? I know the answer.
Yeah. Fragrant Flowers is. Yeah, no, I'm waiting until it's on Netflix to watch it.
I love it, is all I can say. Every season they come out with what's considered peak romance, and then they keep coming out with something that seems to top it.
Yep.
For a while there, Horimiya stood at the pinnacle, and now there have been several since then that have eclipsed Horimiya.
I will say some of the romance have been really, really good. Some have been okay. And then there was one that was just, or there was a couple that were disappointing.
Which one off the top of your head?
The two I would argue recently that were disappointing. One of them was Honey Lemon Soda.
Agreed.
And the other was the other one we didn't. The other romance we didn't finish was A Girl and Her Guard Dog.
No, that one bombed hard.
That was what?
I said that one bombed hard among pretty much everybody.
Yeah. But those were the two I would label off the top of my head as romance anime that were disappointments. Yeah, I currently actually keeping the only ones I'm actually caught up with are Dress Up Darling, Kaiju 8, and Anne Shirley, which all very, very different.
That's a wide range of stuff there, man.
Well, yes. My taste in media is all over the place, so there's that.
Let's see. I am with Sakamoto. Caught up with Sakamoto. Caught up with Dress Up Darling. Caught up with Call of the Night. Caught up with Shield Hero. Started Turkey. Somewhat of a disappointment, but we shall see. Um, let's see. There was something else I was watching. I feel.
Probably. And
And
then
then, like I said, Bunny Girl. Because I forgot to watch the movies, I need to watch those first before I try to watch Santa.
uh, speaking of Sakamoto Days, John says he's waiting for all the episodes to release before watching it.
Mm,
You know what? That is a fair. Sakamoto's one of those shows where that's fair.
so, have you met the old guy with sword yet?
Maybe.
The member of the order that basically cut the bus in half in the middle of the highway from a fly?
Oh, yeah, that old guy.
Yeah, the one that can stand to teach Saitama a lesson on how to kill flies or mosquitoes.
uh, um, all right, Ross has a serious question based on seasons. Let's say an anime was supposed to air in the summer, but gets held back for 3 months and will release in the third month. But when it does, each one episode will be released each week during the time season is changing to fall. Is it still considered a summer anime at this point, or is it fall when it comes out? Um,
Whichever the anime starts airing in, that's what it's considered.
yes.
Like, there were several COVID animes that started and were delayed for weeks or months, and they finished in other seasons, but they are still judged based on the fact they started in
Win-
season.
Winter? Well, no, because that was happening for like the better part of a year. Some of the delays were the better part of a year. Um, it. I also think if it's delayed, like is it delayed in Japan, or is it delayed, or is it just the, or is it the delay here? And Ross is saying yes, he's still on the subject of fragrant flowers, which I suspected was the case. I'm Given that not all of the fall anime start, there's fall anime that don't start until October. I'm gonna say that's still a summer anime. Because there's some that just don't get distributed to the states right away, but they would still be considered whatever season they aired in Japan.
Mm-hmm. I mean, look, To Love Ru didn't get licensed by anybody for God knows how long, and to an extent, I don't think Kiss X was ever licensed by anybody here.
And you've got there's I'm trying to remember, there was one we were going to watch. We were going to watch a couple years back, but it wasn't. It was delayed in the states, and then we just never ended up watching it. But this was a while ago.
Summertime rendering.
And so I think this is not a new issue, just one that we're seeing more and more of. And it's being actively noticed because of the internet, per se. And Ross says on Fragrant Flowers, he says fall because it's releasing slowly, while September 21st is the first day of fall. You know, I'm not entirely sure it matters. I mean, thoughts. What's your thoughts on this one, Darren?
Which one?
The instant, well, I suppose the specific instance of Fragrant Flowers, where it's technically listed as a summer anime.
Whenever it starts airing in Japan, that's the season it's in, regardless of when it releases here.
Okay. And then you did, Ross, you did. And it was on topic. It was on topic as well, as opposed to the normal derailments. We do that well enough on our own. But yeah, that was a really good, thought-provoking question. But that leads to more questions. Because now you've got me thinking. Some of the older anime, do we think that they were 12 or 24 episode seasons? Or is that just how it was brought over here?
I believe when they were originally announced, they were already predetermined with a set amount of episodes, so I don't think it has anything to do with when it gets over here.
And then you've got like the ongoing, mostly shonen animes that just seemingly never end, although most of them are starting to wrap up. But what determines but when it comes to the likes of Bleach, One Piece, Naruto, what determines a season? Now there's a question. Because My Hero is broken up into seasons, but the seasons aren't necessarily the same length, and most of them cover a story arc, maybe two. But I don't think there's a set number of episodes per story arc.
I think they're just kind of making it up as they go along. I mean, if I'm not mistaken, Dragon Ball, when it divided into, some of them felt like 24 episodes, some of them felt like 36, others felt like 48. I'd have to actually go back through my collection and see roughly how many episodes from season to season. Because each box is a season.
Right. But with shows like that, what's a season? And you got to wonder if that's just things changed over time, or if this is things are different between Japan and the States. Because when we were younger, just standard American television, a season would be most of the school year. one episode a week. And then you'd have 8 to 10 weeks of reruns.
36 weeks in a school year, 52 weeks in the year, 16 weeks of no school, roughly.
But it's rare. Like, I mean, now with streaming, we're seeing a lot of like limited series where it's like 6, 8, 10 episodes. But that was rare when we were kids.
Mm-hmm.
But with anime, it feels like it's the other way around, where everything is, each season, if you will, is max 12 to 24 episodes. And then it seems like there's not as many that are longer than that. And Ross is adding to this. Here's the thing about Bleach, One Piece, for those that they're watching Precure. You people have your days, not for me. They never have a season premiere, just a series premiere, and they go long episodes without a season limit. Huh. That is an interesting point, Ross. And this might be part of why with One Piece I'm gonna stick to the live action and not actually go back and watch the anime. But yeah, Darren, what you got? Any opinions? Any kind of commentary?
I think they've really started to rein in the set episodes per season kind of deal in the latter years, but in the original years, with a lot of those, they were all over the place. Because if I remember correctly, season 1 of Pokemon was like 80 something episodes. Season 2 was like 40, 30 or 40. Then back to like 60, then just all over the place.
Yep. And speaking of One Piece, John Knight is pointing out that there's a trailer for the live action season 2 and an announcement for season 3. The live action One Piece, so well done. I loved it. I can't wait for season 2. And I really hope season 2 is the same quality. And this weekend was Boston Fan Expo, and while I didn't go, I was out and about in the city and saw people dressed up, and I did see a good amount of One Piece cosplayers. And it is fun to see all the cosplayers wandering around the city and then watching people react to it. It's just fun. On that note, when conventions are going around, when there's conventions going around where you are, how does the city and the normies, if you will, react to the cosplayers wandering around the city?
Never really get far enough away to really see, because remember, I go straight to the convention center and come back. And when I go, um, mm, about the only normies I see is out in front of the convention center, just walking by, and normally they're all just kind of looking. Most of them are looking with interest more than disgust. Very few, I think, have criticized it anymore because I since anime in itself, and well, not only that, but just comics, cartoons, anime, manga, everything's becoming a lot more mainstream in a sense, to the point where everyone's like, oh, okay, another convention. And something really weird has to make them actually like a show up to make them go, hmm.
Yeah, no, here there's a lot of, it's more, I have not seen disgust so much as I see confusion, curiosity, interest,
I would say
and
curiosity is a big thing that we see.
because some people, especially in the old, in like some of the older areas of the city, people are just confused by it all.
Hmm.
But it is what it is. Uh, oh, crap. And we are popular enough to get spam.
Yay.
I suppose so. I cannot do anything about this because I don't have the Twitch permissions.
Well, to everyone watching, ignore the Twitch bot. There you go.
Um, and Ross is asking me if I'm watching Lord of Mysteries. Um, I don't know. That might be one of the ones, either A, that I couldn't find, or B, just completely missed. Both are possible. Actually, looking that up because ooh, this is one I just completely missed. Although it's listed as an on my anime list, it's listed as an ONA. In a Victorian world of steam dreadnoughts and occult horrors, Shuming Rui awakens as Klein Moretti, walks a rages. Oh, this sounds, yeah, Ross, spot on. This actually does look really good. Um, and I missed it. So I am going to add that to my list to check out later. Um, Ross or John Knight says, "Did I watch the Chiakuta?"
Uh-huh.
Uh, I don't know what this is.
Basically, Living in the slums of a wealthy town, Rudo and his foster father, Regito, try to coexist with the rest of the town, but Rudo despises the wastefulness of the upper class, ignoring the warning shows around him. He regularly rummages through the town's garbage in search of anything valuable to save from the abyss.
Huh.
Where a massive hole where anything considered trash is dumped, including people. His biological father was thrown into the abyss after he was accused of murder. One day after running into a mysterious figure, he returns to find his stepfather's dying body on the floor, immediately found at the scene and charged with murder. No one believes his claims of innocence, and he is thrown into the abyss. Instead of dying, however, he finds himself in a strange, foul-smelling place surrounded by monsters made out of trash. When he is attacked by said monsters, he is saved by a man named Injin, who reveals himself to be a cleaner, someone who uses special weapons called vital instruments to combat these creatures. In order to get his revenge on the one who killed his stepfather, he becomes a cleaner to fight his way back up and out of the abyss.
Excuse me.
It is Studio Bones, so
Yeah, that's a good studio.
and it's a shonen.
Of course it is.
Now, the one anime that only had 6 episodes that I saw a lot of people talking about was Takapi's Original Sin. Did that catch your interest at all or no?
I'm looking that up now because
That got like rave reviews from the community, even though it only had 6 episodes.
no, this one completely. This one didn't. I missed this one as well.
Something up your alley?
I don't know.
It looks to be a horror-ish, if I'm not mistaken.
Tags on my anime list include psychological sci-fi, time travel, and shonen.
Okay, so all 4 of your...
So all things I do in fact watch, usually enjoy. Although I will say there's some time travel tends to be one that is either done really well or it is trash.
And that's why I pressure you to watch Steins Gate.
It's been on my list. Shonen, much like, I will say, much like isekai, there's way too much of it. Most of it's mediocre, some of it's bad, but every now and again there's a really freaking good one, and a lot of them are just silly fun. But no, if there are 2 genres that are completely just overdone, that is isekai and shonen. But they also are the largest genres and have the biggest fan bases. So there's that. And Ross says to you, Darren, while Angela's looking for animes that flip past her radar, are you interested in hearing of anime coming out this fall called Munchinkin at 1 HP? Let's speed run the dungeon.
Okay.
Is that
maybe.
I was gonna say, is that a for you show or a for Doug show?
That is a great question.
Or both.
Maybe both of us. I'll look in the description in a minute.
Because that sounds like that one could go either way, but But no, I need to do better with my filter. I need to do better with my filters and and actually go through my anime list more. Let's open it up on the computer. Did my login save? Yes, yes it did. Yay. How is that close? I feel like there's just so much that there's just so. I think we are proving the point that there's just way too much anime out there now.
Agreed.
Because you watched a couple of Cuckoos, right?
Started, was going to, never did.
Okay.
It was on the list.
Okay, because season 2 is a current anime.
Yep. If I'm not mistaken, season 1 was 24 episodes.
I don't know. I didn't watch it. But now I'm just going through. I feel like there's one. I feel like I'm finding stuff I just didn't.
Catch the first time around?
Yes. And then there's also some that I remember not being able to find.
Ah.
Turkey. Like Vermont Kitchen just was not anywhere. And when I went looking online where to watch it, and even when I went doing a search where to watch, all I could find was a live action that's on Netflix.
Ah.
And then going down far enough, it's the same stuff we
would never even dream of watching.
Like Theater of Darkness Yamishibai 15. 15th season of this show.
Holy.
Yeah. Exactly. Exactly. But, it is what it is. Let's go back. And, there's just so much coming over. But And John Knight in the chat says today is Brian Drummond's birthday, the voice of Vegeta in the Ocean dub of Dragon Ball Z, Ryuk in Death Note, the Funimation dub of Dragon Ball Super, Renkatsu, Shiramaru, and Kaguramaru in Inuyasha. Happy birthday. And thank you, John, for sharing. Yeah, I don't know. And while I was scrolling, Ross, I did find the one you were talking about, and I don't know if that one's for me. But it's based on a web manga, and this is a studio I've never heard of. And it's a brand new studio.
Luckily, so they ain't got no work to show for it.
But yeah, just looking ahead, it looks like just looking at my anime list, there's just so much. There's just so much. Okay. Ross, when is this anime coming out? Alma-chan wants to have a family. Sure, I will look this up. I don't know if this is the one you're talking about, but it's Alma, an autonomous self-learning robot with advanced combat capabilities, was created by two genius scientists, Enji Kamisato and Suzume Yobane, who developed Alma's artificial intelligence and robotics, respectively. After being mocked by their former acquaintances, the duo have worked together in order to show the world their true talents, but even though they cooperate in their work, the two scientists cannot seem to get along in their personal lives. However, despite their constant bickering, Enji and Suzume develop a glint of mutual affections, feelings that do not go unnoticed by their adorable robotic creation. Now curious, Alma starts to question the true nature of her creator's relationships. As she learns more about humanity from those around her, Alma's bond with Enji and Suzume only grows stronger. Okay, Ross, I'll give you there are similarities. I'll give you there's some Spy Family vibes. This one might end up on my list, but there's no air date listed yet other than 2025.
So they're running out of time because fall's the only season we got before we go 2026.
And it's not listed in the fall. But that might be where let's that might be worth watching an episode or two, get a feel for it. But there you go, Ross. And John Knight says he added Once Upon a Witch's Death to his My Anime list. I don't remember if I watched that one or not. But then again, my list is also incomplete. My anime list is also somewhat incomplete. What the heck?
You see something interesting?
No, just a second season that is currently airing with zero description and a studio not listed.
Oh, it's airing, but there's no details?
Yep,
Okay.
exactly.
That's unusual.
Agreed. I'm. I don't know. And the real question is, and in September, there's a Chainsaw Man movie coming out that I'll have to hunt down.
Wonder if they're going to air it in theaters.
If they do, I'll try and go see it.
I mean, considering the Crunchyroll partnership with AMC, was it AMC that they announced the partnership with? I don't remember.
I don't remember either, but there's
a push to bring by Crunchyroll to bring anime more to the movie theaters. My my friend in Pakistan was I saw, you know how Facebook will sometimes show stuff from your friends even though you're not in the groups they're in that they're
yep,
interacting with them.
yep,
He bought tickets to go see the Demon Slayer movie, and he kind of grilled the people at the cinema. Is this the dub or is this the Japanese dub? And they're like, this is the English dub. He's like, well, I wanted to watch the Japanese dub. You need to put specifications on your website as for which ones they're buying them for. And apparently got he got them to actually realize that, oops, there's two different versions of this show that we need to accommodate for.
yep. And surprise, a Doug has joined the chat. Uh, Doug has joined the chat and says that he introduced his oldest child to Apothecary Diaries, and that said child almost binged the entire show in 3 days. And now they pick on her about frogs. Go figure. And he also managed to get Bryn April's autograph. Yay! And Ross didn't realize that that was Doug.
Rivet.
Yep.
I haven't heard a good rivet in anime since Captain Ginyu. Between Captain Ginyu and let's see, it was what's her name and so one of the witches in Soul Eater.
I don't know. Soul Eater's not one I watched.
I think you'd enjoy it, honestly. Did you watch Fire Force?
No.
Okay. I was about to say, because apparently, whatchamacallit, Fire Force is the technical prequel to Soul Eater. Even though Fire Force came out significantly later.
And Doug's just popping in to say hi. It's bedtime because he can get called in at any point after midnight. And speaking of Fire Force, Darren, from John Knight, what's your honest opinion of Fire Force?
I mean, it wasn't enough to keep me interested, honestly. It was good. No, I did not just watch it for Tamaki and her many accidents that ensued. But after reading into the lore in regards to how the events of Fire Force would eventually set the stage for Soul Eater, I may have to go back and revisit it. But honestly, it was one of those shows that was just kind of eh.
And season 3 is apparently the final season. And Ross says, Angela, I'm going to let you know about a similar vibe of Sign of Affection anime coming out in 2026 called The Invisible Man and His Soon-to-Be Wife. That is definitely a never heard anything about this before, but Sign of Affection I absolutely adored, so definitely we'll keep an eye out about that. Yeah, I don't know. Lots of I
I, I.
yeah, pretty much. I don't know. I've got nothing else. If chat wants to throw more questions or commentary.
Let's see. Where was it? Oh yeah. If you want, here you go.
What are you doing?
Okay, there you go. Watch that clip.
Oh God, what did you send?
Very old anime with a very iconic clip. Yeah.
Oh God.
I never watched Kiri no Mosaic. Anybody in the chat watch that one? I know it's the older one.
I've never heard of this, and it looks very 90s.
It's actually not. If I remember correctly, Kiri no Mosaic was early 2010.
Yes, but it's got that earlier school feel.
And then the other one that I've seen a lot of stuff about or clips from and never watched was Plastic Nason or Plastic Sister, I believe it's translated to.
Never heard of it.
It's the one where you see the girl stuck in a basketball hoop. And then they proceed to try and get her down. Said girl insults the measurements of the girl trying to get her down inadvertently, and she proceeds to start jabbing her with a pole in every area while suspended in the basketball hoop.
And Ross says yes, he did, but never saw the movie or finished the last of the second season.
Okay. And what about Plastic Nason, Ross? There you go, Inch. Trying to pick your brain on romance.
Here's a question for Angela. Fall will have a lot of romance. Any jump out? I'm gonna be honest. I haven't actually looked that far ahead into fall, but since I've got my anime list open, let's skip it. Let's go to the fall page. Well, Darren, did you watch the new Ranma half?
No, I never watched the original.
It's labeled as an ecchi. That's why I ask. Whether or not that label is accurate is a different story.
Well, the original Ranma half was one of the godfather of ecchi, kind of like brought the ecchi to the scene, and then Kanekon really just drove it home or set the standards for ecchi. Have you heard of that one? Kanekon, the girl who cried fox?
No. Ross, looking at this, there's a whole lot of comedy romances.
Which I take are not your thing.
And that's where I get way more picky. Because one or the other tends to be comedy in general. I'm extremely picky about. And just at a glance at some of these, or just at a glance, there's nothing, or the only things that jump out so far as automatically on my list are Spy Family Season 3 and My Hero Academia final season.
I am One Punch 3, Spy Family 3. My friend's little sister has it in for me. Is a definite me.
Yep, that just sounds like you.
Doug is campfire cooking.
And Uma Musume Cinderella.
I need to finish season 3 of Uma Musume. I started it, got a couple episodes in, and lost track of it.
But I feel like another Doug show, Hero Without a Class Who Even Needs Skills. And then
My Awkward Senpai. That looks like a me show.
Yep.
Chitose is in the Ramune. Is it Ramoon or Ramune?
I'm gonna go out on a limb and say I believe it's Ramune, but I'm not 100% certain. So there's a very real possibility I butchered that.
All right, we got a comedy harem romance here, so that's a maybe.
And the harem thing does not interest me in the slightest. Going down a bit, there's one here that looks like it might be for both of us. A star brighter than the sun. Sei and Koki have been friends since childhood. One fateful day at school at the end of middle school, she has a revelation that her friend has grown up. Now they're in high school, and she realizes she has feelings for him, but she's not the only girl who does. That
Don't
could
you?
be that could be
Yeah.
cute.
About to say, I just wish, I just wish that would work out more in real life.
Hmm. All right. I found a sci-fi romance. I found a romance sci-fi that
Beatless.
this one's called Dusk Beyond, or the English title Dusk Beyond the End of the World. Um,
Oh Lord.
what?
I'm not mistaken. We got another, um, basically, furry romance by the looks of it.
What's the title?
Kimi no koete koi ni naru. With you, our love will make it through. And the only reason
Ah,
I say that is because it's showing what looks like a fox in in the thing with a girl. It's
um,
yeah, it's anthropomorphic fantasy, romance, school, urban fantasy.
hmm, yep. Um, I don't know. And then we've got another comedy romance plus sized misadventures in love.
Oh, I found one for me and Doug, considering our love of vampires.
Oh, where'd it go?
Vampire Chan can't suck properly.
Yep, yep. That was my reaction to that as well. Was that's a you guys? That is a show totally for you guys, where I'm just gonna sit back and laugh at you guys.
Let's
Um,
see.
there's one here labeled as a sports etchy.
Yep. Don't touch Kotasashi.
I feel
So,
like that's a. I feel like, and It's listed as a harem school anime.
well, you got a guy wanting to be a medical doctor, and then all of a sudden he's got the girls surrounding him. So, yeah. And Ross, the last show I watched, any remotely similar to that, was Engaged to the Unidentified, and that one was actually good because they had human forms.
Um, Ross, what's jumping out at me on the fall list is mostly not romance. Um, because I'm finding what looks like a cool slice of life anime, a supernatural one, the sci-fi romance one, and then we get into all the. Uh, And then Ross says, have y'all, yes, I'm from the South, come across Monster Meat Milady? I have not.
See if I can find it.
Darren, engaged to the unidentified was not a harem.
True,
Says
it's not
Ross.
a harem. It's not a harem, but I was talking about the anthropomorphic stuff because that's what they had a different form to them. Did not mean in regards to a harem, Ross. Let's see. Oh, I forgot. There's a Disney. There's Twisted Wonderland.
Yep. Ross is pointing out another romance called Final Request coming out this fall. I didn't see that one on here. I see.
Let's. This is a interesting one.
Which one?
Let's see. Plus size misadventures in love.
Yep. I feel like that is
That is not a me one.
no. Not me either. Ross, is the one you're talking about, may I ask for one final thing?
Ooh.
And that one, looking at that one, Ross, the answer is maybe. That's a maybe for me.
Well, I found a yes for Doug and a maybe for me.
Which is?
Actually, it'd probably be a yes for me because I've seen several other shows and when it related to this. A mangaka's weirdly wonderful workplace. So tags adult cast CG DCT. Never heard of that tag before. Comedy otaku culture workplace. So basically, an office where they write and illustrate manga. I have seen several like that before.
So have I, but where is that on this list?
It's just above the vampire one.
Ah, okay, it's different. Oh, I'm on the PC. You're probably on mobile.
That's correct.
So they line up differently.
And if I recall correctly, the ones I've watched before were an all-female cast too, and it looks like mostly female.
Okay, new shoujo manga artist right there. Oh, this actually looks like a maybe for me as well. because there's another slice of life I really enjoyed was the one where where they basically it was basically a how to do a manga.
There's been a couple of those. It wasn't Comic Girls, was it?
No,
Or was it?
Bakuman.
Oh, Bakuman.
Uh,
Oh yes, I remember that one. One of my friends raved about that one. Um, I remember Comic Girls, and I remember Comic Party. Comic Party is old. That's
um,
like early. That's like early 2000s anime, and
Ross says, Darren, I only have one fall recommend for you. It's called Backstabbing in a Dungeon. I got a gotcha skill.
okay.
But excuse me, Backwater Dungeon. Uh, so, given that we've only got a couple minutes left, any final thoughts about any questions, comments from the chat to end the night?
Backwater Dungeon. Okay, I have heard of that one. I got nothing.
Nor do I. And I'm surprised Ross hasn't chimed in with a question. And John's question, are you enjoying Kaiju 8 so far? Yes, I am. Season 2 is exactly what I wanted it to be so far. But if you enjoy John, if you enjoyed season 1, season 2 is fantastic. But on that lovely note, I think it is time we say goodnight to our audience.
It's time to say. Nah, I can't. I can't do that. Like, what's his face?
The answer to Ross's question, the blanket is Gundam. It is, if I were to pull it up, it is Amuro from Gundam Wing. And the other one that is over on the couch is Ruby. But it is that time. It is quitting time. So
But it's not payday. So what's
no. The point is, until next time, stay happy, stay healthy, enjoy anime, uh, be safe. Be safe, because I feel like there's storms coming.
Yeah, so apparently it's supposed to be off and on rain tomorrow, which is going to affect my day greatly, considering I'm already had to push like 7 or 8 clients into tomorrow from last week.
Oh no.
So I've basically come to the conclusion this season I am not catching up at all.
Yep. But yeah. So on that note, have a good night, everybody, and we'll see you next week.
Nighty night.